All right. Welcome, everyone. We're so happy to see all of these faces joining us this morning and this afternoon and this evening, as it's evening for Jonathan and maybe some of you as well. My name is Arwen Brooke, and I am hosting this webinar along with CoreAlign CoLab. And we are here to gather and have just a little coffee chat. So I hope you either have your warm coffee, tea, or something else refreshing while we gather together. And the spirit of this webinar is to just connect and give you guys opportunities to hear a little bit more from Jonathan himself. He shared about his strategic exercise program in the Balanced Body blog, The Core. You must have seen it or you wouldn't be here. And we just really have this intention, this shared intention of making learning more accessible and enjoyable. And so we thought it would be nice to bring a live opportunity to hear from Jonathan to say more about what these strategic exercises are all about and how you can learn more about them. We'll introduce you more to this course that's available on CoreAlign CoLab, and then also other learning opportunities that are available with Jonathan. So I am going to pass the invisible microphone off to Jonathan, and he's going to give us a little run through, and then we'll have some Q&A at the end for the last about 5 to 10 minutes. All right. So I'll ask you guys to mute yourselves just during this first portion so we can keep the camera on our speaker for a little bit, and then when it's time, we'll open the webinar up for questions. All right. Again, thanks so much for being here, and away we go.
Well, hello everybody. Thank you, Awan, for great introduction as usual. And yes, we're here to talk about the strategic exercise. This is a concept I started using and a term I started using, I would say in the last year. And it's pretty updated stuff to a point that today I use this method every day. I'm a physical therapist by profession. And today I just came back from work an hour ago. I saw about 15 people in 5 hours, 15 clients. And the majority of them are regular, regular people that woke up one morning with a shoulder pain, with a knee pain, with a hip pain. Suddenly they're limping a bit. They feel, but it's not, it's a clinic for chronic, basically chronic patients, and they come to me, right? And they're very similar to the population that come to Pilates instructors in a way, because we know from statistics that a certain percentage of each class will be suffering from chronic pain. So why am I talking to Pilates instructors? Is because I discovered, something that you already know, that the best tool to combat movement-based uh, pain or chronic pain, acute pain, it doesn't really matter, is pain-free holistic exercise, which is part of a functional movement, okay? So let's say if someone has pain running, so you don't train them running, you train them walking where they're comfortable, and then running will come by itself. And the best way to train running is through full body, pain-free, harmonious movements. Now, Pilates instructors understand this on the spot. I don't have to tell them about the power. Whereas for physical, in the professional physical therapy, it is different. Okay, so this is the difference. They used to either manual treatments or modalities or exercise or injury specific exercises, right? So by definition, they're not holistic. And so I'll give you an example. In the clinic, in the clinic with traditional physical therapy exercises, you can tell which area is injured. But in a Pilates exercise, you can't. So it's the same exercise, but different people are dealing with different issues within their body. Okay, so now let's go to the strategic exercises. Now, what I discovered are mainly or chiefly two exercises that when a client, either with back pain or lower limb problems for the one exercise, or neck pain, arm pain, referred pain, radiation, pins and needles, everything coming from the upper body, there are two exercises that on the spot can alleviate the pain. Okay, so you'd expect, okay, so I always test before and after to be sure with myself, first of all, okay, because these are people suffering from back pain or from shoulder pain, from chronic pain. No one's helped them. They've been to everyone. They've spent a lot of money. And here I come and I say, okay, with one exercise, you can make a difference. So I always test, okay, let's see where the pain begins. So let's say here, so I measure it, okay? And even on measure, I'll say, okay, let's remember this. And then I give them the exercise, 1, 2 repetitions. I just make sure that they do it correctly, okay? So I actually teach them the exercise, like teaching a Pilates exercise to someone. So there is a learning process, but once they learn the exercise and they do it correctly and they can feel the correct stretch, and they do one good repetition, I said, okay, let's stop. And then suddenly they can go higher. Now, they say, is this magic? Is this, no, it's not magic. Okay, because what we're doing with all the, and what Pilates instructors know is that um, the the problem is not lack of strength. The problem is not lack of massages. The problem is not lack of heat. The problem is impaired movement. And once the movements are corrected, the pain disappears on the spot. And it's, in a way, it's like fine tuning the violin. And I use this example a lot, uh, except when the client is a guitar player, then I say, okay, yeah, it's like fine tuning the guitar. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's fine tuning the concept of fine tuning an instrument. So let's say if and this is important because in life we have got so many uncertainties, especially today. We don't know what's right and wrong. We don't know who's right and wrong. Every right is an opinion issue, but there still are some things in life that we can tell for certain, okay? And one of them is that if the violin is not playing in tune and you fine tune it, and then suddenly it does play in tune, you know where the problem was. And I use the same analogy for the body. So no, it's not a miracle. What is a miracle? If the miracle is if the violin would fine tune itself somehow, but we're not interested in such miracles, really. We do, that's not us, okay? We want it's we if there's a mechanical issue, then the solution should be mechanical. If it is if it really is a movement based disorder, okay? So I totally agree. There's so many things that affect chronic pain, and everybody's right. There's psychological issues, there's sociological issues, there's all kinds of fringe benefits, and everybody's right. But once we can recorrect the movement and then the pain disappears, then that's evidence that that was an issue that us as movement instructors, okay, that should be okay. Now, this is really how we can help this person. Now, why do I call it a strategic exercise? So, all just tell me if I'm talking too much, right? Yeah. So, if all the every Pilates instructor knows that every now and then you do the correct exercise on the correct client with the correct problem, and suddenly, wow. Okay, so that's a bingo moment. And it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. And it's a great experience also for the client, also for the instructor. And that is actually the expertise. That's what we expect from our Pilates instructors. That, yeah, you'll just teach me a few moves and then I'll feel better. And that's exactly the job of Pilates instructors. So now, when you have a client with pain, what I did is I took these exercises that we know that they work for certain situations. And of course, it's not 100%, okay? Because we're humans and the problems are not everybody, but you know what I mean. But what we can tell you that if you do find a strategic exercise, and I call it a strategic exercise because it's not a bingo moment, okay? It's not a mistake. It's not a by chance. It's something that we're actively looking for and found. And what what we also discovered is that if it works once, it'll probably work again and again and again and again. And just like with every exercise, the more you do it, you get better at it. The exercise becomes easier, it becomes more effective. And in this case, you need it less. So, what I tell the clients, okay, you've got your sequence 10 exercises on video clips that I give them to do every day, regardless. Okay, that is the main pillar of my treatment today, that everyone leaves me with a relevant sequence to their problem. And I've already prepared in advance the next level and the next level. So as soon as they come back, the better. I already pushed the next level and the next level. But there's another issue that has to be solved. Okay, so let's say someone is a good client. They do whatever we say. So they do their 10 minutes beautifully. They leave the house feeling fantastic. And then they go to the supermarket, they lift up their hand, and they got the pain back. Okay. That's when they pull out the strategic exercise. So they don't have to do the whole 10 minutes again. They know this one exercise. They know it so well, they don't need a video for this exercise. It's like a secret tool in the body. Okay, no problem. Okay, let's do 1, 2, 3. And the key is to catch it when it's small, when it's in the beginning, before it develops, before it builds up, and before it becomes a big, big issue. Because in the beginning, it's just pain. But people from that little pain, 3 months later, they can be candidates for operations. And you know what I'm talking about. So catch it when it's small. It's strategic. It's like a secret tool in your pocket. Now, that whenever the pain comes back, you catch it when it's small and kill it when it's small. Excuse the expression, but we're talking about the pain over here that's controlling people's life and causing them misery. And apparently, this pain is clever than more clever than lots of other clinicians, let's put it mildly. And we really, to deal with the pain, you have to understand it and understand how it functions. The thing that the pain is afraid of the most, you know it. It's pain-free holistic movement. Okay, so if you move holistically without pain, that's it. You won the game. There's no way the pain can come back. Movement-based pain. Okay, I'm only talking about movement-based pain. And how do we know that it's movement-based pain? Because our exercise is affected. Okay, so it's correct. We can't help everyone, but the people that we we can help a lot. So, would we like any more? Would we like to open the floor for questions, or would you like me to continue?
Jonathan, how about this? I do want to open the floor to questions. And then just before we do that, can you just say a few more words about the specific course? So the strategic
Okay.
exercises he's talking about are all gathered together in a course on CoreAlign CoLab that is an on-demand course. And I think that maybe if you want to just introduce that concept, the style of learning, and then we can talk a little bit about, you know, independent learning and then the opportunities to actually come back together and learn in real time together. So go ahead, and then we'll pause for questions.
Oh, yes. So this is important. Thank you, Arwen. Because the character of the article that they wanted from me, they wanted some kind of light reading, kind of given ideas. And In the beginning, I sent them a long, long article with all the science and with all the and with the 6 exercises, not just 2 exercises, and these are. And what came out is really the just the an introduction to strategic exercises. So we decided, Owen and I, that there is place for people because these exercises are really life changing, also for the clients that actually use them and benefit from them. And I started with the fact that I saw um, my clients today. Okay, so it's really fresh in my. I'm talking to you about what happened to me today in the clinic, right? So each client has their strategic exercise, and the first question I ask them is, "Does it work?" And if they say no, that's a red flag. If they say yes, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Now, so to make this more accessible for Pilates instructors and CoreAlign instructors, because at the end of the day, they're CoreAlign exercises. So we decided to do this course. In this course, first of all, we go into detail about the concept of strategic exercises because that's a new concept. Then I go into the science, and the science, not too heavy, don't worry, but I was fortunate to be taught by 3 uh, world famous physical therapists when I did my postgraduate studies in Australia. And, and what we see in the strategic exercise is actually a blend of the 3 philosophies, these 3 great physical philosophies. And I talk about that in the seminar, so you understand exactly, what we're talking about, because it seems like magic, but then when you understand the science, then you realize, no, it's not magic. Okay, it's logical. And it's important that we realize that we remember that we're not dealing with everything. There's no trickery over here. It works or it doesn't work. And if it doesn't work, you know the answer on the spot. Just like if you fine tune the violin and it still doesn't play nicely, that's it. You stop fine tune. You give it to the carpenter. But you don't. If you can't fine tune the violin, that's it. That's where you stop. So the same thing with these exercises. So also in the online course, we we put in 6 exercises, not just 2 exercises. And in the article, you can just see the video of the exercises. But in the course, you'll see a detailed videos with arrows and with some of them with voiceover, so that you really experiencing the learning of the exercise as if you're in a Pilates class with me. So I think it's of much, I can't say great value. Okay, I'll leave that to other people to say. But it's much more value than the article. So if you thought the article was intriguing and you want to learn more, I think it's very worthwhile to enroll into the online course, because if they work for you, then it's immediately you can put it in practice, and it's the buzz of the success of a strategic exercise is so much more than any money that anyone can pay you. Okay, I'm proud to work in the in in the public service, and my clients actually don't have to pay, or they pay really little for each therapy session, and they don't know who I are. They don't care who I are. The only thing they care about is to get from here to here, or in other words, to be able to lift up your baby, to be able to go back to work, to be able to go back to play soccer. That's what they care about. They don't care about my certificate on the wall. And by the way, pain-free pain-free harmonious exercises. You don't need any certificate from anyone to teach people these exercises. Okay, as long as they're pain-free while you're doing them, and most important, check before, check afterwards. Make sure for yourself first of all, then for your clients. The buzz from both sides is unbelievable, especially that you plan it in advance. So looking forward. And also another thing is that the online seminar is actually an ongoing issue because there all the time there are more things to talk about, there are more articles to write, so they'll all be added on and on and on to this online course. So you buy it, you get it once, but it's actually going to be updated all the time. So if we make a new video, it'll be updated to the seminar. So it's really it's if you're interested in this, if it intrigues you, it's really worth the effort to read to get the theory and the practice, and an access to have classes with me to complete the procedure.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Jonathan. That was just perfect. What I am going to do now is just say a couple things about the technical portion of the course, and then we'll invite y'all to speak up and ask your questions. And yeah, so as Jonathan mentioned, this course lives on the website on demand through CoreAlign CoLab, and it's a one-time purchase with a lifetime availability or accessibility. So you can review it ongoing. And Jonathan, as he said, will be, because he just never stops, never stops working with real humans and taking what he learns and putting it into these materials. So these materials will be updated, and that's pretty high value right there. There's other things on offer on CoreAlign CoLab from Jonathan as well, but without deviating from the topic at hand, I do want to spotlight that um, this course, by being a sort of self-paced learning experience, is something that works really well for some, and for others, maybe it's not your most efficient or most inspired way of learning, but it is a resource and a tool that lives there that you would want to have access to anyways. But in addition to that, Jonathan is making himself available to you in a few different ways. One is that he is offering live virtual sessions one-on-one. This would be an opportunity to take the materials and workshop it together with him. You could be working on your own body. You could be using that practice as a way of helping you do more sort of workshopping these practices for your clients, or a little bit of both. And then the other component or piece that we're excited to offer that is new is virtual study groups. So depending on the course that you're taking, if it's the strategic exercises course, then we would be taking basically we have an interest form, and once you have that course, maybe you'll then decide whether this is of value to you, but you would just let us know your interest, and we're going to connect people in similar time zones or with similar availability to get together in more of a group format to work with Jonathan. So just wanted to let you know that those options are out there, and that this experience of on-demand learning is, we wanted to complement it with some real, live and human to human opportunities to make sure that the content could make sense and get into your brains and practices in the most friendly and easeful way. Um, Also, I'm going to put this on gallery view so that we can all see one another. And I wanted to just take a little poll and see how many here are, in fact, Pilates instructors. If you want to raise your hand, if that's you. Okay. Great. And then also CoreAlign. I see CoreAlign in the back of at least one of the screens here. Yeah. Awesome. And then it wasn't mentioned as clearly in this discussion so far. It is in the article, but I wanted to just remind all of you, or highlight again, that the exercises Jonathan is talking about do not require CoreAlign. We're excited that they are CoreAlign based movements. So if you have a CoreAlign, you can use the CoreAlign and get a lot out of these practices, but they are intended to be portable and require no equipment, so that by the time you've trained your clients on them, they can take them, like you said, into the grocery store or wherever they find themselves in pain. So they're not CoreAlign dependent, although again, CoreAlign we love, and we are excited that you have them. Okay, let's go ahead and open up the floor to questions. You can unmute yourself, raising your hand, or any of the other fun ways of participating in group discussions. Let's see. Okay. I I see a question coming in the chat. Yes, that's a great idea, Lisa. She's asked if I can drop the link to the course here in the chat, and I will do that. Jonathan, do you want to say a little bit about why six? Why there are six exercises, or
No, they're not six. Uh, these are six exercises that have been found to, in certain situations, to create immediate movement-based pain relief. But there might be more. There probably are more. In fact, I'm sure each and every Pilates instructor has got an exercise that they know that in this case they're going to give that exercise and it's going to work. Yes, that it's the definition of a strategic exercise is an exercise that okay, if you use it correctly, if you perform the exercise, uh, if you if you use the exercises harmoniously and in a pain-free manner, uh, a certain exercise for a certain disorder. In other words, if you're suffering from any movement-based disorder and you can do any certain pain-free, harmonious exercise, and that can get rid of the pain, then that's your strategic exercise. Okay. And we can go further. It doesn't even, it's endless, right? So it can even be, theoretically, it could even be a psychological cue, right? So just say voodoo and the pain disappears, use it. Use it. Okay. That's not this is these exercises, the two exercises and the six exercises, which include the two main exercises, they're just the ones that I found that work the most for me. Okay, but if there's any other exercise that you know and you can say, okay, for this condition it works for that, and you can show that it works time after time again, and it works for the similar problem in different people, then please tell me. Okay, it's six is just I'll use it, right? Six is just an example of six that are known to be strategic exercises. Okay, so I hope that answers the question.
yes, it does. And then, if you don't mind, I thought maybe since in the article you shared an upper body and a lower body, if you could just maybe name the other four, what parts of the body or what types of pain they address. Just a little preview.
Okay, so I'll give you an example with myself. Okay, so I try to run 5 kilometers every day, and I know that there's this issue that if I'm if I haven't ran for a few days, or if I'm not really, top of my form, then I've got an issue with my left leg that it kind of like the calf muscle starts to tighten. And it happens usually towards the end of the race. And I know in advance that there are three exercises, okay, that if I can do this one, and I can do this one, and I can do that one, and then the pain just disappears by itself, and I use it. The other, so these three exercises are included in, so those are, for example, three of the other two exercises. Okay, so you don't really need to name the exercises, okay? Just because the name hasn't got a significance. It's the exercise, and does it work as a strategic exercise? Yes. So there are six different movements, and for six different issues, we know that in a certain amount of people, they will work. And if it does work once, it'll probably work again and again and again. And more than that, the more you use it, I say to the clients, it's an opposite of a pill, of medication, because the more you take medication, the less it's effective, and the less healthy you are. But with a strategic exercise, the more you use it, it becomes more effective and you become healthier. So it's the total opposite of it. Yes. So um, I'm very excited about it. I just can't talk about it enough.
Yep, I know that about you. I love
And the
it.
clients, by the way, the clients, you know, I've got difficult in a good way clients, okay? They want to know what they're doing, okay? They want to understand. They want, hey, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you doing, there's no easy path for me from the clients, okay? But I keep on, just let's do this exercise. Let's just see, let's just see, let's just see. And then when they see the results, the disbelief is like, whoa. And and then one of them said, okay, okay, you won, as if it was a between, he didn't believe and I did believe, and I won. But that's really, again, it's not a miracle. It's when you fine tune the violin and suddenly it plays beautifully, it's not a miracle. And you can do it again, and you can do it. And you know what? It's not an issue. Ask if a violinist is playing a concert in the middle of the concert, they needs to fine tune the violin, then stops the concert and fine tunes the violin, and everyone understands in its respect for the maestro, and then continue with the concert. So the idea of the strategic exercise is really part of our life in different spheres, okay? But the idea of constant self-maintenance and and using the the exercise for a purpose, okay? So you fine tune the violin for a purpose. And there's no end because you can say, okay, so it comes from a different place in the brain. So when you fine tune the violin, it goes to you have to focus. You have to really focus on your technique. But then when it comes to the concert, then you can allow your muses to fly and then you can actually be playing in the clouds, if you know what I mean, without, just let yourself, because you fine tune the violin, so you have confidence in yourself, because every tune that you're about to play, you've already gone through them all. This is okay, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Yeah, now I've got confidence. So, welcome to strategic exercises.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Jonathan. All right, everybody. It is just a few minutes past the half hour, so I'm going to wrap us up and let you all go. Thank you so much for joining us. Before you take off, I'm going to just run through again where to find things. And if you have any questions and you want to stick around, you can type a question into the chat. That way we can get back to you. So to review, you're going to find all of this on CoreAlign CoLab.com. You are going to go to the education page to find the course specifically. I dropped the link into the chat, so if you're knowing you want to check it out, go ahead and grab it now. And then I have all of your email addresses, so I'll send a follow-up with the recording from this webinar as well as the link, and then you will have access to reach out through the website at connect@corealigncolab.com. That's the email address you can use, and you can also enter into the chat here. One last thing, the CoreAlign CoLab website is the hub for virtual learning of all sort of in the spirit of trying to bring the CoreAlign community together. So there's lots of education and learning opportunities there. And just by being here, I wanted to let you know that you have been already welcomed into that CoreAlign CoLab community. There's no obligation to buy anything, but you'll hear from us again, and we're really glad you're here. So thank you so much for joining us. Hope you have a wonderful day or night, whichever side of the world you're on, and we'll see you hopefully again real soon. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.